Hey guys, so I've just watched the 40 minutes of Devil May Cry gameplay footage by IGN, and this is the video I'm using for the backdrop of this. And it occurred to me some interesting facts about the Sparda sword, which I mentioned in my previous video that I released earlier today. And I thought I had to do a video on this just to explain what I thought, because I was actually really surprised at what I saw. So before we get to that, just a few notes about the gameplay for Dante. So one thing I noticed with the Nero gameplay I wasn't entirely sure about, but I'm definitely sure about now, is that they've added this feature which I've wanted in like any action game like for a long time, is where when you've got your sword equipped, you actually hold your sword if you're not using it. So in a typical Devil May Cry game, you would attack, and then as soon as your attack is finished, you put your sword back on your back. And there's nothing wrong with that, but for me, it kind of feels like it's not exactly realistic, which obviously is not meant to be realistic. It's a game. Games are not meant to be realistic. I'm not jumping on the it's not realistic enough bandwagon, but for me it sort of adds an element of immersion to it. So in this, you'll notice, and I'll show you in a second, is how Dante will hold his sword when you're not using it, rather than just put it straight back on his back, which I always wanted. And I remember when I was younger, when I was playing Devil May Cry 3, I desperately tried to make this happen, even though it wasn't physically capable, because I didn't understand that. But I just thought it was a really cool addition they've added with both Nero and Dante, and I've seen it in both gameplays, so I'm pretty sure it's a thing. And that is really, really good of them to do that. Like, that's just, I think that's a combination of fan service and just good game design. But yeah. Anyways, so the big thing for me is, I said in my previous video that I wasn't sure whether Dante would use the sword, given the sword in a cutscene, or maybe just borrows the sword for the cutscene. I had no idea why he had the sword in a few shots of the trailer, which were very hard to differentiate, which clearly the developers didn't want you to notice, unless they planned on us analysing the trailer frame for frame and realising, oh, that's the Sparda sword. But from this gameplay footage, I can make an assumption, or at least a stronger assumption, about what is going on with the Sparda sword. So you can see here, when he approaches the boss, literally the screen just fades straight into the boss battle. Now you can tell without a shadow of a doubt that there's supposed to be a cutscene there in the full game. And obviously the cutscenes that we've seen in the trailer would signify that there should be a cutscene introducing that boss, because he's in the trailer, you see Dante have a motorcycle thrown at him, etc. But it's not in this, so obviously for the demo they've altered it, just so you can focus on the gameplay and not give away too much of the story. However, if you go back previously to an earlier part in the demo, he goes to face like a mid-level boss by the looks of it, and when he does, a short sort of intro cutscene type thing plays, and he's got the Sparda sword, which surprises me that they've left that in the game, considering they, by the looks of it, they don't want us to know that you can have the Sparda sword, as they tried their best to get rid of it. So clearly, whatever's going on in this part of the game, in the full game, you have the Sparda sword already. Otherwise, why would Dante have it equipped when you go into that sort of intro cutscene to that boss? There's just no reason for it unless you already have it in the full game. So all in all, I reckon you get to use the Sparda sword already in the game. My theory is maybe you have the Sparda sword at the beginning of the game as Dante anyway, and eventually you transition to Rebellion for whatever reason. Maybe it gets stolen, maybe you have to give it back to Trish when she gets involved. But I'm really happy that they've done this, because in Devil May Cry 4, no sign of it. You didn't use it, nothing. Obviously in the special edition, Trish gets to use it, but Dante never used it, even though he holds it in a cutscene in DMC4. And that made me a bit sad, but at least they're doing it now, and that's really awesome. But yeah, I just wanted to share it with you guys. Sorry if I've rambled a bit, but it's really excited me that I saw that. I just thought it was a really cool thing to add to the game. But yeah. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, like, dislike if you want, up to you. Don't subscribe, whatever you want to do, and I'll see you in the next one.